Welcome to Three Things. Our next guest is a man who's out there raw blogging the White Sox. He's the creator of the column Water Carry Wednesday. He also broke the Ben Zobrist cuck situation. And he's a man who would never retweet a compliment about himself. A tortured Illini basketball fan, an incredible ball buster who couldn't help but give me shit about the candor of my invite to this very discussion here. I'd like to invite yous, this is Bridgeport, to welcome Unprotected Sox to Three Things. Unprotected Sox, how is you?
I'm great. If you just want to keep complimenting me for 5 more minutes, I don't feel like we got to move on.
I could continue slurping if you'd like. You want me to get the undercarriage or what? Is that how it works?
Cup the ball, or else this doesn't count.
I'm glad you mentioned the Illini fan thing, because I just want to mention that I am wearing I'm repping the 108 here, but this is a Illini shirt and not a Bears shirt. So
not a Bears shirt.
I was gonna ask. So does that mean you're not a Bears fan?
I'm not. I don't know why I just admitted to that in front of a bunch of White Sox fans, but no, I'm actually a fan. But I'm in the Kenwo camp or KenWO camp, where it's like the Bears used to play at Wrigley Field, so my family's just like, no, nothing about Wrigley could be cheered for. So,
see, I think in the Sox camp, there's a lot of people that are not necessarily Bears fans, and there's a lot of Packers fans, and there's a unusual amount of 49ers fans, and all for different reasons. There's not like some key reason that most of these people are 49ers fans.
I mean, the Bears helped out by being a mediocre pile of crap for the last 30-ish years, like popping up occasionally and having decent teams, but never like sustaining anything. That makes it real easy for people to be interested in some other shit.
Yeah, but as you can see, I'm a White Sox and Illini fan, so mediocre piles of crap is kind of what I'm into.
So how are you doing about Illini basketball right now? I know I got my Sox thumb over here has been blubbering and crying because Kofi's, and then all the transfers.
Io's going to the draft now too. He just announced like an hour ago, so it's gonna suck. But I mean, it's just funny that the 1 year that we were actually going to go to the tournament and maybe even make some noise in there, there's a coronavirus. So
right, it kills the whole thing. No,
you know what? Those guys can pull out though, just in case. Like if they haven't hired an agent yet, I don't think, unless Io just said he did. But I was not aware of that. I had a kid situation, so I've been dealing with that bullshit. But yeah, I mean, they can still come back, but it's just weird all around, and it's a shit year for both our teams.
Yeah, I mean, pulling out is usually what I'm rooting for, but I mean, I'm sure whoever they've been with is trying to keep them to make them go inside, trap them for a little bit. But speaking of your kid, I saw you're using the quarantine to get potty trained.
Yeah, she just started doing it.
That video is awesome. Yeah, I think like another week or two, I'm probably going to be able to pick up the newspapers in my apartment.
How many do you got?
0. I'm talking about myself.
Just yourself?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I love it. I love that my second went.
The fuck? We talked about this.
All right, so we did thing number 1. That was me slurping you. Thing number 2, Unprotected Sox. Do you have a question for the group?
I do have a question for all of you. I know you're all big fans of the Humble Brag. So I wanted to ask you, besides the 108 tournament, what is the piece of 108 content that you yourselves are most proud of?
Ooh, that's a good question.
One of you guys.
Well, I won't take anything that you guys created, because you guys probably the bigger ones are under your scope, like 108ing and the soak and things like that. I will humble brag the name I came up with from the 108. So it seems like people like it. It rolls off the tongue pretty good. So I think that's probably mine. Naming the group. Probably, what was that? I don't know. Was it 42 years ago? 3 years ago?
Yes.
I can't remember.
It's like almost exactly 4 years ago.
Well, with how I aged, that's 7 years. So that's a long time.
3 easy years.
It's 28 in dog years.
I'll go next. Treasy mentioned it already. Creating hashtag 108ing, because I think it's impossible to create a hashtag that really sticks for a long period of time and that has some sort of meaning and that a large group of people are interested in. And two, you see a lot of people try to do hashtags, even similar hashtags to hashtag 108 that don't quite like stick in there. And the second part of it was the gestation period for getting hashtag 108 really off the ground was so long. It was like a year of me like continuing to push it out there. No, it's a year because
it was like about a year.
What's that?
Almost 2 years.
It was about a calendar year before people really started to hit it. You know, it just takes a lot of time, patience, you know, to get something like that done. Now it's an uncontrollable monster. Like anytime, if we go 3 days without retweeting the 108 tags, I mean, there's just enormous. Like it's a flood into anyone who follows us into their stream. It's like I got to take breaks. I'll do a 15 right now and stop because everyone's gonna be like, this fucking asshole just retweeted 60 of these things in a row.
I can't believe you still do that with how many like tweets you get from it. Like, I just feel like that's the nature of it. You know, there's stuff we don't retweet. So people will try to sometimes tag their content, and because they know we retweet it, so I'll avoid that. There's people will do videos, and like I normally won't retweet a video because I have to watch it to make sure, you know, the end of the video they're not like dropping N-bombs and saying, I love Satan there, you know, and I don't want to endorse any of that shit. So I gotta be careful not to retweet. So I'll skip some of those things. But if it's just like a classic picture of a drink, and you know, and people do fun stuff with it now. Like it used to just be beer at a Sox game. Now people get really creative with what type of drink, or if they got some good food item they got, whatever. So it just feels like something we should be sharing with the community. I think it's gotten past the point where it's like people that would even know who you guys are, which is a compliment. Just like just the whole 108 brand and everything about it. Like there's so many people that know about it, and I think it's awesome.
Well, thank you.
It's ridiculous.
I would say I'm proud of Beef, but I never say that. So
We came up with the name. So without your name, there's no hashtag.
Yeah, I couldn't create it, right? It wouldn't exist.
You.
What you, my Sox Summer?
I think the thing, the petty one is definitely the bathroom article, but that was also Teresi and myself that did that. We workshopped it in the stands. I'm the one that finally put my ass down and typed out stuff, and then it became what it became. And it's something. It reminds me of like high school when I would write a term paper or like a paper like the morning of 2 hours before class, and I would get like an A+, and I would like go, that's ridiculous, or that's great, I'm really good. And then I would take my time and write something and really put a lot of time and effort and thought into something, and I would get like a C-, and they'd be like, dude, this sucks. And I was like, why the fuck am I thinking so hard? Why am I investing any time into this? Because people are just going to be moved by something that like feels like it's coming from the soul, you know? And telling guys that they don't know how to piss properly in big group settings seems to be like a lightning rod. Like so much so that I'm not even like I think I released a blog last year about guys not washing their hands properly, and that didn't receive any kind of love whatsoever. But anytime we retweet that bathroom
imagine
article,
if it would have. We might be doing this in person.
Yeah, you were ahead of your time.
Yeah, I mean it's insanity. And but the biggest thing, or that's the non-petty thing, would definitely be the amount of money that we've raised to donate to Boys and Girls Club, to the cancer charity, brain tumor cancer charity, for King Nam and his wife Amy in memory of her mom. That stuff is what I really like to do, and I thought, and I like how we, like the three of us, have like really been on the same page when it comes to money in this group. Like we're not out here trying to make a shitload of money or make any money. We would rather take the notoriety and whatever we have and pass it to something that we also enjoy. So it's been good, and it's also nice to be in a situation that where all three of us are in, where we don't need any of this money or any kind of money to continue to do this. We do this kind of because we like to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome, and I love that you guys did that and all that, and are humble about all of it and are helping people. So I love.
Well, we appreciate that.
Amy's mom and everything. So I did want to, if you guys just want to cut that whole last part, because I want to give you another option to like redo your answers, because the correct answer, yeah, all raising the money, that's fine and stuff. But the correct answer is this video right now that we're recording. That's probably the so if you want to cut that, I don't know who's in charge of editing, but
yeah, I'm in charge of editing. That's why it doesn't happen.
It never happens.
My summer, we didn't even mention the Sunday soak. Like creating the Sunday soak was like
No.
kind of like our ramp up to like getting known by a lot of these people. But I agree with you. Everyone's choices. Like I think it sits back behind some of these things. You know.
And that's an interesting point. Well, why didn't we mention it? Because it was probably one of the most like forward-thinking ideas that we probably had. And it just, I mean, other than the tournament is definitely the biggest thing. But like the soak was like kind of out of the box, and it was like, this is totally fucking ridiculous, and let's just do it. And it just continued to go, and that's kind of how, you know, what's helped cement the 108 hashtag with Daniel Palka being involved, and then Jeff the Giant kind of jumped on board with that and got Patalka to retweet that, and then it kind of just blew up.
Yeah, I mean,
it was fun.
The soak is more creative than the tournament, in my opinion. Like it's just like, who the fuck is gonna do that? And then we're half naked, and not to mention we take questions, and by take questions, we take all the questions, like whatever the fuck maniac shit anyone puts in there, we attempt to answer it if we can. You know?
And we're obliterated. We're totally hammered while we're doing it. So I mean, it's just it's perfect. It's perfect.
I'm glad I asked this question because I feel like it came up with some pretty good answers for you guys. My other question was, and it won't count because it's 3 things, not 4. But my other question was going to be, I was deciding between that question and rank the Teletubbies that you would fuck in order. So I'm glad I went with this one.
Centipede them.
We'll have to have you back on to answer that question. I mean, I think we need to do a little bit of research.
I actually really like these videos that you've been doing, and not just because you included me in them, obviously, but I was watching them today, just kind of get myself ready. Not that I'm nervous at all, of course, you can probably tell, but
or should you be?
Wait, and that Scott Garcia guy with his Frank Thomas story, that was awesome.
Yes.
We weren't expecting that. I mean, like, we know Scott, but we weren't expecting that shit. It was great.
My Frank Thomas story, like, I looked like the biggest loser of all time, and he's out there getting hammered with him, which it sounded like Frank was pretty drunk. And can you imagine how much beer it would take to get, like, Frank Thomas that drunk?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. He's probably like a lightweight.
Yeah. Well, I know he doesn't have that much testosterone, so.
Right.
Or he always wants more is the answer.
Yeah, he's my favorite athlete of all time, and I was in the Gold Coast or the Jim Beam Club. I don't know what it's fucking called now, but the Home Plate Club, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And I had just eaten. They have the buffet there, and of course I was gonna get my money's worth, so I had like 5 plates of food, and I like couldn't walk anymore. And then I see Frank walk in with his wife, and I'm just like, oh my God, that's my favorite athlete of all time. I gotta go say something to him. And he went right to the buffet line, and I couldn't just go up there to talk to him, so I had to pretend like I was getting food. And I was like going to throw up. I'd eaten that much. So I walked up, I literally like I just put 1 hot dog on my plate, and even just looking at it, it was the most disgusting piece of food, like on the whole buffet thing. It was like the last roller of the 7-Eleven one. So I throw it on the plate, and I'm just like, hey, Frank. I'm like 25 at the time. Hey, Frank. And he goes, yeah. I'm like, I just want to tell you a real hero of mine. And he's like, thanks, man. And then I just walked away. And while I'm walking back to my table, I just start crying. Like, and now Scott Garcia is talking about like getting wasted with him. Stories.
Not all Frank stories are created equal. All right. Thing 3 is our question. And admittedly, you are a Barstool fan. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. We are too. So I thought it might be fun for the group, the 4 of us, to individually rank the 4 Chicago Barstool personalities in order, 1 through 4, however we like them. And we'll start with you, Unprotected Sox. Go for it.
Oh, boy. Well, this guy's won your tournament 3 times. And I don't think he's the most creative or even the most funny of them all, but he seems like a good guy. And, I mean, he won the tournament without having to buy bots like I did, obviously. But no, he would probably be my number one, and especially because he's the only White Sox fan of the group. And then I've heard a lot of bad things about the guy, but like I like hearing him talk. I think he's probably got the best personality as far as podcasting goes. Like puts on a good show. Probably Carl is next. Eddie gives Dave a hard time a lot of the time, so I kind of just like, dude, come on, just give him a break.
Yeah.
And I do not give a fuck about hockey, so I'd probably put Chief last. No offense to him, I just don't care about hockey at all.
My Sox Summer, what do you think?
So I have similar picks, same picks, except we're gonna swap Eddie with Carl. But I mean, if we're going, we can't go based on content per se, I guess. But Dave is definitely number one. And the thing about Dave is, you haven't met Dave? Unprotected?
No, he doesn't even follow.
Oh God, you got we have to get that together.
Yeah.
Because he is not there. Meeting him and hanging out with him enough times, there is no act involved in Dave and half of the stuff that he does. The things that are an act are the things that flop, that don't work. It's the things that like he just says are that's just Dave.
Yeah.
And I put Eddie before Carl because Carl is just a little weird, and plus Eddie used to work for the Stern Show, and that just puts him number two. And I think he's funny, and he's actually come to the section to say hi, unlike Carl. Carl would be third because he also is the same as Dave, but he is like, he tries to play the smart guy role versus the fun guy role. And so some of his stuff comes off a little weird, like a lot of, guys from, Catholic schooling. I mean, that's just kind of how it goes. And then prep school Chief, I feel like he adds something to it because he remembers shit. And like a lot of the other guys don't remember specifics, but like his whole story, I feel like is just starting to come out on their serious shows right now. So you're hearing more about him. And when they went on that 2-day thing where they're talking about all the things that Chief had never eaten, like he'd never had an Eggo, and like just these this weird stuff that he'd never had before, and how like Burger King is banned in his house because the drive-thru like gave his dad shit one time, so they can't go to Burger King anymore. Like it's off the table. It was just great shit. I mean, but yeah, that was I like that. Their show has like been really nice in the quarantine.
Yeah.
I thought that, not quarantine, the stay at home. It's been really fun to listen to them like try to figure out new things to talk about.
So
how about you, baby?
I mean, I feel like we got to go Dave one. I'll put Dave one.
Yeah.
That's easy, just because I mean, like I've had many beers with Dave, and that kind of trumps everything for me. So love hanging out with that dude. And then two, I'm gonna go Eddie because I love the dog walk. I think that show is fantastic, and I think I probably listen to his content more than anyone else on the entire group, the entire Barstool group. Like even more than like Big Cat, even though Big Cat's been showing up on my TV every morning because I'm watching Pro Football Talk a lot. So now that I'm home, and then I'll go Chief 3, and Chief's number 3 because on the dog walk he does the conspiracy theories, and I love that shit.
Wow.
The other thing is too, he talks about the Blackhawks. I don't know shit about hockey. Don't really have that much interest in it, and it still keeps my attention. So there's something to say about that. And then Carl's last, he's the Cubs guy. Like a lot of times I don't want to hear what he's talking about, so I kind of tune out. And other than that, I mean, we met him. He seems nice enough, man. Had some drinks with him. He's all right, dude.
Trees, remember we went to that the NBA Jam event, and then they had us up in the private area. He made me get up and give him a big hug. He's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
108 guys, love you guys."
And then we talked Catholic League with him too. I mean, like that was he immediately jumped in on that conversation.
It's one thing I really love about those guys in particular is like if you come up with a weird concept or idea and you're like, they're ready to jump in on whatever the fuck it is. They're conversational about basically everything, and that's why I think they're fun, and that's why I think they kind of do a good job of bouncing to all these categories. They started doing the drafts like we do, and they're fucking excellent at it. They have good ideas behind how they want to do it. They rib each other about certain picks. It's good. It's fun shit.
I think that Barstool, I mean, there's a lot of people that I'm friends with on Sox Twitter that just can't stand Barstool, and they have a hard time when they find out that I'm a Barstool fan. It's like admitting that I'm a Packer fan, like I did earlier. You guys are really out me. But I think really if you just like actually consume anything that they're doing, you'll find out that it's not the like misogynistic, like pieces of shit, just scumbag. Like a lot of their fans are just douchebags. But like I like what they do, and I mean anything that I think is funny, I'm gonna listen to and I'm gonna watch, and I appreciate what they do.
Yeah, I think that's how we feel too.
Yeah.
Beef, what was yours? Did you list yours off?
I didn't do mine yet.
Sorry.
I'll go Dave 1. Dave's an easy walk-off number 1. Great guy. He's always been cool to us and, like, unnecessarily cool to us. Like, retweeting our shit, supporting our tournament. When our tournament, no one was looking at it, and he was the one, like, helping us, pushing it a little bit. You know, you kind of remember shit like that when a guy is nice enough to – he likes what you do, and he's using his big brand to push your tiny little brand. That's really sweet of anyone to do. And most people wouldn't do that. And a lot of other big brands don't do that. Like there's a lot of people out there who will not help us with any of our stuff. So I really think kindly of that.
I
number 2 is
subscribe to the Athletics, so.
Maybe someone. Number 2, I'll go Eddie as well, only because I think Eddie's just so good at doing media. Like the dog walk's terrific. I agree with Terezi. I really enjoy listening to it. I think he probably would be natural in any setting in which you're just talking a bunch of bullshit if he's the driver. Let him drive whatever the fuck thing, and they'll go somewhere. 3, I'll go Carl, only because I think Carl is conversational about everything. I actually think he's a very smart baseball guy, but I don't even like necessarily listening to his baseball takes. I like listening to him talk about dumb shit like making the Thanksgiving turkey or whatever the fuck. Because he like makes it entertaining, and he's like neurotic enough to kind of like get into all the parts of it, and he like reveals himself. He's like he's vulnerable. And 4, I'll go Chief. Even though I agree with Terezi, I love the Tinfoil Tuesdays, and he's a great talker. But I'm with you, Unprotected. I don't give a fuck about hockey, so it really hurts. Like his sports content, I'm just like push the fucking button. I'm not listening.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't watch this because 3 out of the 4 of us will rank them last. So, Chief.
Chief doesn't like. He's been around us several times, and he's never even said hi. So I'm not worried about his prep school ass ever.
When Terezi and I were at that event, and we were in the private area, obviously Eddie come and give hugs, and Carl hugged. Obviously, we're hanging out with Dave. We saw Chief for 8 seconds at the end when he was leaving. That was it.
I'll tell you what it is. Chief is used to having the best hair. And then he sees 3 dudes like us walk in with an incredible flow. And he's like, oh, shit. I don't want to be near these guys. They're going to take away from my hair game. I get it.
Yep, 100%. I'm with you, Terezi. I'm with you.
It's fair. It's a fair assessment.
Unprotected Sox, thanks so fucking much for being with us here on 3 Things. This is amazing.
Awesome.
Hope to have you back sometime soon.
Yeah, I hope to. I mean, I told you I'd like to get down to the section if baseball ever happened this year. I was looking forward to it, and I got a season of Sox Twitter under my belt. I'm looking forward to get to the ballpark and seeing people. I know my Sox Summer and I had a couple drinks last year.
Yeah.
For the game. I
was gonna ask you that right now. I'm like, we've met because we were at the Shy Sox Bar and Grill, and you bought drinks.
Yeah.
So I remember that, and you bought drinks for Wally even.
Whoa!
And I was gonna say
it's like a $45 drink there.
I was gonna say, yeah, right. But Wally was buying them too, so it was fine. I was gonna say Wally was a great guy, and he actually seemed pretty put together. So all I hear about is how crazy and a wild card he is. And I was just like, you know what? I mean, he must have been pretty sober that night. Although I think he drank like 5 Bacardis while we were there in the 1 hour.
I think you probably saw him in day 1 of a bender.
All right.
It was a Sunday.
It was a Sunday. A wild Sunday.
So.
And
I've gotten to know Kier and Zach pretty well over the last couple of weeks.
They're awesome.
I figured just anyone who fathered those 2 guys, like they got to be as crazy as advertised. So I look forward to seeing you guys a little bit more when we're there.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for doing this.
Hope I didn't let you down.
Later, guys.